The Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in Bobcaygeon. We are the Jim and Terry Show. I'm Terry.
I'm Jim. We're in the ruins after the apocalypse.
With the ruins.
With that music reminds me of the end of everything.
Yes,
I just see robot drones clunking through the ruins of a city. Oh yeah. Ooh.
So you respond to rhythms too. You like rhythms drive your music.
Yeah.
It's the spine of a musical track.
Well, I've got no spine.
Rhythms. What is the? You're the jellyfish. Okay, I got a nice jazz tune for you. One that takes that line. I'm a jellyfish. Spineless character. Yeah, but we are in tumultuous times, and I've been having a number of conversations with a lot of people about truth, where to find truth. Who's got truth? Who claims to have truth? What evidence there is of truth? And I'm just talking about the news. I can't even find the truth in the news. What help do we have of any kind of spiritual or religious experience of the truth if we can't agree on basic facts of a story? And let's start with, there was a debate in French. I saw only clips and only summaries of it. So our show is called Have You Heard? What have you heard, my friend?
I wonder if my bilingual children, any of them, watch debate.
Well, that would be
debate.
Fun, yes.
Took debate. No, watched
took the bait on the debate.
Well, I didn't watch it. I just like you. I've just heard about it, and
okay,
I heard.
So what have you heard?
The only thing I heard is my drive here today. Beautiful drive, by the way. And I got my summer tires on now. Oh, it makes such a difference.
Oh, I've got to get mine.
I heard that they were saying Poilievre was good, but he trying to be a nicer personality, a more jokier guy. When the pit bull time came that he needed to be a pit bull, he really didn't take Carney to task. And I also heard that Carney, who is struggling with French, but I think is getting more respect for his efforts, because basically what he is speaking French with an English accent.
Yes.
So one guy actually said, I actually could understand him. My wife, who's French, couldn't. And I could understand the French because of his English accent. I knew what he was trying to say. They say he held his own. So he just kept his calm, and he held his own, and just looked good. Some people thought Poilievre and the NDP leader, Mr. Singh, I can't get his first name. Looked more
at ease?
No, more.
No? I thought he did.
More prime ministerial.
Prime ministerial.
You know the word. Anyway, I'm not stupid, folks. I just have problems.
Okay.
So I don't know. So
Carney
to me, it looks like a draw.
Poilievre didn't throw a knockout punch.
He will tonight.
Jagmeet Singh carried his own and actually sounded like a leader.
Yeah.
And okay, that's the long and short of it all. It was in French, which I don't think it's the first language of any of them. So kudos to them all for saying, we are a bilingual country by choice, and we're doing our best to
Well, the Bloc did say Quebec should look after its own financial affairs. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, that was Blanchette, was it?
Maybe Quebec could join with Alberta, and then is there some way we can
separate from themselves?
Yeah. Some way we can make a bridge so we can keep Canada instead of Eastern Canada, Western Canada, and Central Canada.
I think the whole sovereignty. I know Carney, when he was first chosen as leader, repeated the old 1970s slogan from as a René Lévesque, who was the great separatist in the 70s, who said, "Je me souviens, we're masters, maîtres chez nous, masters in our own house," and talked about that in light of the United States wanting to take us over. Mm-hmm. Well, we are now the Quebec in Canada, where the U.S. wants to take us over, just as Quebec feels they are the Canada in that relationship, where the rest of us want to take over control of Quebec. I really don't think many Canadians follow that belief anymore. They just want Quebec not to do stupid stuff.
We just want one country.
Yes, we want one country. Yeah. Can you just do your regular stuff, look after yourself, and that's fine. Don't stir the pot.
Yeah. So I'll never really understand
No.
there's such a devotion to
Language
being
and culture
language and culture.
and religion. Catholicism is in there
Yes,
too.
that's true. But again, everything. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know.
So
To me,
no-
to me, the debate sounds like the debate was a draw. And that's what
Yeah,
it sounds
yeah.
like to me. And tonight, it's probably going to be gloves off.
Well, I think
Polyev will hear the criticism. He's going to attack Carney.
Carney.
And Carney, I don't know, is going to try not to be so English.
Yeah, I've getting back to the Parti Québécois, I have a hard time, or the Bloc Québécois rather.
Yeah.
I have a hard time having a separatist party, by definition, a separatist party being there at a federal.
Yeah,
national
I
debate.
never
That
understood
should
it from the
not
beginning.
Be there.
Yeah, I agree.
It should be the same reasons why May was not there representing the Green Party. She doesn't meet the requirements to be in the debate. Well, being a separatist should be one of the requirements to kick you out. You should not be allowed, if you're a separatist,
I got
your
a
whole
great
agenda.
idea. In this hellhole we're starting to go crawling into,
You
why
and me?
not elect the Bloc? Let's see what you do.
Well, the Bloc
Would you
is-
move the capital to Ottawa?
Well, if you took
I
out-
mean, from Ottawa to Quebec City?
Well, Quebec City is a beautiful city.
I don't like it.
No?
I think it'd be great to walk around. I drove in it briefly, and
Well,
I wasn't very pleased.
No, it's a tough one to drive, but walking around, old school,
I've never been,
old
other than
European
driving.
feel.
I've driven through it. I've never walked around it.
I love the old section of Montreal, the port part of the old original Montreal. That
I could take the port.
yes.
Glug, glug, glug,
Oh,
glug, glug,
you want the
glug,
liquid. In terms of winners and losers, then we called it a draw, like nobody had knocked out anybody,
Yeah.
and everybody survived more or less intact. And
Well, they
that's
said
the
it
way
was more like
goes.
four individual interviews as opposed to candidate on candidate.
Yes.
So I
There
think
was
that
no
was
real candidate to candidate debate.
that's right. It was just like four
speaker to
individuals
yeah.
being interviewed
Yeah.
by the speaker. And
Yeah.
apparently the guy that hosted it was good.
Yeah.
Other than he played with his glasses too much or something.
It could be nervous energy.
Well, it could be playing with his
Okay,
fly.
so-
That would be worse.
So you've already indicated what to expect in the English one. This one I will take some time and watch and follow. I'm expecting Carney to dance circles around everybody. And not because he's a politician. You would think the politicians, Jagmeet Singh, who's had just about as much time as Polyev has in public service, Carney has not. But I'm expecting his expertise to be dominant.
I think if I was Carney, here's the route I'd go, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm really into politics too much, but here's the route I'd go if I was Carney. I'd say the Conservatives had their share of being the government in this country. We had the greatest jet ever, and you gave it away. You tore it up, you ruined it. You never did put a pipeline from the west to the east, which would have really solidified us as a nation, just like the railroads solidified us as a nation. I would point out all the things you keep saying you're going to do, and you never do. You're always saying it's somebody else's fault that it never gets done, but when you're in power, you never do it. That's how I'd view it if I was Carney. Now, if I was Carney, I'd also say, I am not Trudeau. I have never been a part of the Liberal government. I've been an advisor, and some of my advice they took, some of it they did not. I have straightened out the economy in both Canada, and anybody listening who thinks he didn't, go look it up. He fixed the economy in Canada. Then he was hired by another country.
Who is also in crisis.
England, who was in crisis. Why do you think he hired him? Because he solved the problem in Canada and then went and got them through Brexit and helped them in that particular area there. So the guy knows what he's doing economically. I kind of like that. So if I was Carney, I would sort of point these things out. Now I'm going to be the prime minister. We're not thinking about pipelines. They're coming in. We're going to run a pipeline up to Churchill. We're going to do all this stuff. And I know the Conservatives, which I am still, believe it or not, said, because Carney mentioned something about $500 billion going towards getting this stuff done.
Infrastructure.
Okay. The number doesn't really impress me, and it doesn't scare me. Just get it done. Like, do something, because we need to now prepare for the future. And if Polyev can convince me that he's the one that's going to do it, other than just criticize, how are you going to do it? Like I like what Carney said about the houses. We had this crisis after the Second World War, and we fixed it. And here's how it was fixed. And I have no idea what government was in after the Second World War. But they put in affordable housing.
I think it was Louis Saint Laurent, a liberal.
Okay, whoever it was, they brought that in, and I was raised, and that house still stands to this day. I was raised in a house that was built.
We had an episode a little while ago about expectations being out of whack.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to go back to those expectations of post-war
Well,
Canada.
this is a perfect example of if you build it, they will come. Thank you. We're signing off.
Yeah, Jim and Terry Show signing off for now. Bye-bye.